The following is a written account for the oral tradition of the carolers phenomenon. There is no region or time frame of origin in regard to this tradition. Rather, this written account will pull folklore, urban myth, and eyewitness accounts from a variety of places at times. Carolers, sometimes referred to as the wassailers, is a phenomenon that occurs predominantly during the month of December. However, some reports suggest that occurrences in late November and early January have also been recorded. The phenomenon appears to be a supernatural in origin, and there appears to be no certain way to trigger the occurrence. However, every eyewitness to the separations has the crucial similarity. All of those who have been visited by the carolers had recently donated clothing to a local charity or drive, with only minor exceptions. Given the seasonal timing of the occurrence, surrounding or on the Christmas holiday, the clothing in question is often wintertime outerwear, including but not limited to jackets, coats, sweaters, vests, mittens, gloves, scarves, beanies, bonnets, earmuffs, snow boots, and other assorted cold weather attire. Additionally, it would have been noted that every eyewitness phenomenon had recently decorated such apparel. Not every donor was visited by the patrons, although it is uncertain why this is the case. According to the varying legends of the mouths of those who have allegedly seen the carolers, the apparitions would appear sometime after the donation had taken place, always at night, and on nights where temperature was considerably low, often snowing, and in some cases below zero, while the timing of the appearances would vary from location to location. Many caroler sightings would occur during the middle of the night, around midnight to 3 in the morning. Eyewitnesses would describe as hearing a faint, nearly inaudible sound upon waking from their slumbers. After some moments would pass, this sound would rise considerably in volume and become unintelligible. Though muffled, as described, the growing sound is that of either a voice or several, depending on the quantity of the clothing articles donated prior. The voices were often described as angelic or otherworldly, and would reportedly be heard singing Christmas carols from outside the home. Hence, the phenomenon is referred to as the carolers. As such, the following list catalogs a very known song reportedly sung by the Apatrians, although the catalog is incomplete and constantly being updated as new sightings occur and new songbooks, music sheets are discovered. Here we come us caroling, Silent Night, Good King, Wenceslas, Adis Fidelis, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, Angels We Have Heard on High, Convertory Carol, We Free Kings, In the Bleak Midwinter, and The Little Drummer Boy. Upon hearing any of those carols, or undocumented ones not beforehand mentioned, many of those who encountered this phenomenon would follow the sound to its point of origin, typically outside the home's or apartment's front door, where the witness in question would see what appeared to be the clothing that they had donated prior, suspended in the air and seemingly worn by an invisible persons, with the sound emanating from where a mouth should be, often beneath a beanie or somewhere within its hooded coat. Upon the completion of the carol, these garments would then drop to the ground, and the phenomenon would end. With the exception of a large family of 8 from Nebraska, most sightings of the Apatrians consist of anywhere from 1 to 6 carolers outside the front door, with an average being free. Due to the nature of typical clothing and donations and drives, the outfits worn by the Apatrians are often incomplete, with some being more mere scarves at her feet at the ground. To others, often visitors of more generous benefactors, being fully bundled with the exception of a face. Any and all appearances of the carolers phenomenon, despite differences in the attire or the amount of therefore, behaved in a similar manner. The Apatrians would appear, sing, and depart. with only a few rare exceptions that will be listed down below. Mary Thomas, a 68-year-old woman from Des Plaines, Illinois, is the only recorded individual visited by the carolers, who did not report the sighting herself. Rather, the sighting, though not to be confirmed with the carolers, but highly likely, was made by a neighbor who claimed that they had heard loud banging sound sometime around 2:30 a.m. during the morning of December 23rd, 1988. Upon donating a robe and heading over to the Thomas residence, the neighbor discovered the front door to be wide open. A pile of old clothes were littering the front porch, and Mary Thomas's body lying on the hallway rug. Thomas had suffered a heart attack sometime between 2 in the morning and when the neighbor had found her. Months prior, Thomas had surgically received a stent in her heart, and because of the outpouring of donations on her behalf and her weight loss due to health conditions, decided to give much of her old clothing to a local charity for the holidays. Much of that clothing was discovered on Thomas's front porch that morning. Eric Anderson, a 30-year-old from Liverpool, England, was declared allegedly dead in 2007 after being considered a missing person for 7 years, in the year 2000. After not returning from work for a period of 3 days, Anderson's apartment was visited by local police, who discovered not only the home to be vacant, but no signs of forced entry or foul play present within. Instead, investigations were only left with the empty bed, Anderson's pajamas beneath the covers, and nothing suggests that he had fled the premises. All of the Anderson's clothes and suitcases were accounted for. A wallet containing his ID and $600 in cash were retrieved from the nightstand. Though no official connection to the phenomenon ever surfaced, Anderson's eventual obituary did describe him as a charitable man. Despite the calm, however, little evidence of such generosity was conveyed in Anderson's financial statements. Additionally, these statements never once suggested that Anderson had any children, nor was paying any attention of child support. Yet, despite this, 10 children's winter garments were discovered surrounding Anderson's bed on the night the police investigated his disappearance. One of the earliest documented cases of this phenomenon occurring during a midnight mass at the Basilica of St. Luke in North Bay, Ontario, on Christmas Eve, 1895, describes like a candlelit service that ended in a choral of rendition of Silent Night. As the first verse came to an end and the second began, the congregation within the small church heard a loud swell of voices that rattled the stained glass windows surrounding the entire building. Many of those ceased with their singing, but according to a letter written from the Basilica to the neighboring one, the heavenly hosts continued their usual praises until the final word was uttered. When the voices had finished the song, many of their congregants in the attendance, led by candlelight, made their way outside and into the snowstorm that awaited them. Even those too fearful to trek beyond the warmth of the building rejoiced in the arms of their brothers and sisters in Christ, carried the bundles of blankets and hand-knitted sweaters, the other gifts from the Lord, into the sanctuary. Many of these gifts would be soon distributed by the needy and poor following the Christmas morning, though to this day, the origins of these articles remain a mystery. My paranormal investigators and some religious scholars have concluded that if any of these claims of the phenomenon should be considered truthful, the carolers were mere harebangers who rather often for warnings for the future, offer gratitude for the past. However, others far more skeptical and purely good-willed beings of Yule suggest that carolers, and if they exist at all, may also serve as vengeful Christmas-time spirits. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.